Bet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
TyLoo is a monster, Tom!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to StarSeries I-League Season 4. We are here into Day 2, and we're going to be going into our, well, losers matches. It's not the kindest way to call it, but that's what it is. We're starting off with TyLoo versus Fnatic. Two teams sort of at different ends of the scale, I think. I think Fnatic had one of the tough games. Well, I suppose they're all tough games, but they had a tough opponent yesterday, which a close series, one of the closest series we've seen, and ended up falling into the lower bracket. And then TyLoo, pretty much the polar opposite, got absolutely slammed by FaZe.
I think out of all the teams as well in the lower bracket, the one that you want to face the least is Fnatic. I think you can probably make that argument. So I'm not feeling too confident for TyLoo here. But, you know, maybe they pull off something absolutely crazy and then really surprise us. Of course, that's the schedule for the day. Kickstarting this with Fnatic versus TyLoo. And then we're going to follow it up with VP versus MVP. So lots of VPs there. And then, you know, then we have Hugo and Halvor. They're going to be taking you guys through some of the other good stuff. Actually, no, wait, that is... I'm trying to think.
Oh, yeah, that's
correct.
That's the winner bracket.
Right.
That is our stream,
I
Harry.
forgot, Tom. You know,
there's two streams at once.
It's early. Yeah, they're going to be taking us through SK Gaming versus Mouse and GT versus Astralis, which those games sound fantastic later.
Yeah, no, there are going to be some good games coming up. Of course, for these two, there's two teams that should be the sort of clear winners. I think the Asian teams have sort of come into this and not really been expecting a whole lot. I think MVP definitely showed a little bit more than what we saw from TyLoo. Like, TyLoo just looked out of it. I will say, though, that in terms of just for the Chinese teams, I think the worst team they could have come up against was probably the FaZe or G2, because they're the teams that individually are the sort of the most talented, and that is where normally the Asian sides actually have a bit of a chance, where like their aim is going to be very good. It's just like the sort of tactical side of things where we've always called into question. I think we were talking to Vendetta yesterday, and he was saying, yeah, there was literally a round where they just threw the bomb out of like apartments and tried to then like use it as a fake, and it did actually work, but it was like just a really, really odd play. And those are the sort of things where you just look at it and go, what on earth was that? Whereas then it's like the individual aspect of it. Like, I don't think there's any doubt that Bentet, very, very talented. They've got the new guy, X-Curate or X-Accurate or however you say it. He's going to be in there as well from the same team previously as Bentet. And we have seen...
I thought you were going to say excrement for some reason.
You thought I was going to say his name is Excrement.
I don't know, Tom.
No.
It's early in the morning here in Kiev, you know.
But yeah, he's the new guy on the block. And obviously there's been a lot of changes sort of with TyLoo. Like, their old coach is now here with another team. So there's going to be Peacemaker, of course, with Heroic, who I believe that game's going to be going on at the same time. Yeah. So it really is a sort of weird time for their team. Like, the one thing I do find is, okay, it's going to be a very, very tough game, but I think individually they have more of a chance versus Fnatic. Not much more. I still think that they're probably going to get stamped out, but Also, maybe some of the maps they can get away with. I think Mirage will probably come into it.
Yeah,
Fnatic very happy to play it.
I think that's the one thing they got going for them, right? Is that Fnatic, they're not afraid to play Mirage, and I think then you kind of get TyLoo's probably best map put into the
either that or
the map pool.
They're pretty good at cash. I think at the moment, in the last few months at least, they haven't lost a game of cash, but. It's always that thing, like it's always been that thing with TyLoo. It's like you look at their map statistics, you go on HLTV, let's have a look at how they're doing. And it just is one of those things where you're like, yeah, they're 6-0, but they haven't beaten anybody noticeable. Either way, to bring you a little bit more about TyLoo, we do actually have a video from their team.
Hello everybody, I'm here with Buntet from TyLoo. Firstly, can you recap us on your game against FaZe?
Yeah, we got wrecked in both maps, 16-2 and 16-6. Yeah, we lost individually and also teamwork. Yeah, hopefully we're gonna bounce back tomorrow.
Yeah, and talking about bouncing back, how are you going to change those things, those mistakes that you've identified?
From this mistake, we learned that we have so many mistakes from team play, also communication. Yeah, I believe it takes time, but against Fnatic, I hope we do better than this.
Yeah, and that is your next opponent. They are your next opponents, Fnatic. What do you think about them and your chances?
They are pretty good teams. Everybody know they are ranked 5 at the moment, and their players, their tactic also good. But we will fight and we will prepare our best.
And there we go. Best of luck. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much again to Parla and Buntet for the interview. I think he pretty much said it better than I could. They got wrecked. Like that was it. There wasn't really much to what happened yesterday. Hoping they can come back a little bit versus Fnatic. And as I said, I do think they have a little bit more of a chance. And it's X-Cura.
Yeah, I was going to say that we're just going to keep adding X's. Next is triple X-Cura.
He's only got.
No,
there's 2 C's on the HLTV page. There's 2 X's in this one. Now my mind has been blown. Either way. X-Accurate. It's just even more difficult to say. X-Curate. I feel that sounds a bit better. It's a tough name. Obviously, he is the new guy in the team. Didn't really get to see too much from him yesterday. They got absolutely obliterated by FaZe. But then when you are playing against one of the best teams in the world, if not arguably the best, it's not going to be easy, is it?
No, it's not.
It doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why they just kind of throw in some of these like wacky strats. I don't genuinely think that TyLoo, think like, oh, throwing the bomb, that's a legitimate, play. I know, Tom, but that kind of annoys me even more than it works. Because then it like perpetuates this mindset that people have where it's like, oh, the kind of Asian scene is so wacky and we're out there, they do such weird, like, they still play to the meta. Like, they don't. That isn't a good thing to do anywhere. And the fact that it worked is just like even worse. But yeah, here you go. It's Fnatic. It was, as you said, like one of the closest series that we had yesterday. Of course, they played versus Gambit.
Yeah, not many of the games we actually had went to all 3 maps. It was only, I think, that one, obviously, the game we casted, Virtus Pro versus Mouse Sports, also went to the 3rd map. I would say that was actually the closest, because although we had like all 3 maps, all of them were fairly clear-cut who was actually the victor. So I do think Fnatic are going to want to improve on that. I think in terms of the draw, though, they pretty much got the best draw they could have had. It was arguable whether they would have wanted to play against MVP or TyLoo, but out of all of the teams, that was definitely the best one. They could have got the likes of Liquid, which would have been atrocious if that had happened. Obviously, Virtus Pro were in there as well.
I feel so bad for, like, whenever I see Fnatic stood there with their arms crossed, I just think back to the We Are Fnatic video. I just can't see it. Yeah, no, Tom, I'm reliving it now. But yeah, no. Here's the bands coming on in. Although I think this is what this is.
Well, I'm just gonna see who bans Nuke. TyLoo.
There
So
you go, off the bat. You got
I
your
don't
answer
think
quite quick, Tom. We can
Fnatic
go
would have
home.
wanted to play it
All
either.
wrapped up. Cash
Interesting
is
to
gone.
see Cash go straight away from Fnatic, but I think that's a good choice. As I said, it's one of TyLoo's best maps. They haven't lost it, even though that is in Asia. Still might as well get it going
Cobble.
through. Cobble going to be picked. Again, it's sort of like, I wonder if they're just both going to leave Mirage till the end. I'm thinking TyLoo are going to try and play this a little bit more tactically. Cobble, in terms of their maps, other than Cash, probably has been their best one. I think they're 6-1. Inferno was the map that we saw, obviously, Fnatic play yesterday versus Gambit. That was, I think, the one that they actually won as well. So, again, nothing really surprising here. And if we end up on Mirage, I feel like that will pretty much be the series that everybody would have expected. It's only really the Fnatic removing Cash, which I just think was the smartest choice for them. And other than that, well, it is going to be down to Fnatic to choose where they want to go. But considering Mirage has been one of their most played maps, the only reason they wouldn't do it is just to try and catch TyLoo off a little bit. And yeah, pretty almost exactly what we thought it would go to, except maybe a Cobble in there. But again, just the removal of Cash. So, yeah, not a bad map, Paul. I think both teams would be fairly happy with this.
One thing I kind of like is TyLoo's like dedication to get good at a map like Cobble. Like, usually it's not one that we really see teams that are kind of, you know, to say up and coming isn't quite right, you know, like it's because they're very established within the Asian scene, right? Just like ones that don't necessarily compete at like this level internationally. Normally, you just kind of see them focus on like
that is a scary stat.
Your average map. But yeah, this is the only problem I'm seeing is Fnatic. They haven't played Cobble like you know, all that much, but they've been pretty damn good at it whenever they have played.
Yeah, no, it doesn't get much better than 100% win rate, does it?
No.
It is one of out of all their maps in the pool, or that they actually play, it is their least played map, but then statistically very, very good for them. And then you look at TyLoo, again, it's sort of like you look at this, 85 points, that's pretty good. And then you look at the teams who they played against, and it's like, okay, they probably should be beating all of those. It's like you've beaten, well, one Australian teams and then all the best teams, or all of the teams in Asia. So it's not anything to really go off of. It's very difficult to see where this team will come out. In the past, at least, I do remember some very good games from TyLoo on Cobblestone. I remember, I think, one of the, I think maybe Season 2 of StarSeries, it was them versus Heroic, and there was an incredible series there. That was when Valde had just been added to Heroic. So that's how long ago that was. But I remember that he won the game. Valde won it for them at 16-14. He aced the last round.
See, I always think that TyLoo were quite good on Train, like whenever I've watched them.
I think for me, the map for Asian teams has always been Mirage. Like that was always what I said, was just like, no matter what you do, just make sure Mirage isn't in that map pool, unless you're like obviously one of the best. Like for FaZe, it's not really that much of a difference, because just like they probably are, if not the best team other than maybe Cloud9 or Mirage. So that was a given that they were going to play it. But I think it's just because with that map, it's so basic in the way that it's played, that even without a huge amount of communication, which obviously TyLoo still struggle with. Like I was actually speaking to Peacemaker this morning, and he was like, well, no, what you have to realize is, even though Bentet is like, he was telling Bentet what to say to them, and then he was trying to very basically then translate that into Chinese, even though he doesn't speak fluent Chinese.
Yeah,
so
I remember you telling me he has to write it in the chat.
Well, that was one of the things he was doing.
He's more proficient in writing than he is
in
talking.
But even then, it's very, very basic. And that was the biggest problem, because, again, Peacemaker was saying that in practice it was fine.
It is kind of like literal Chinese whispers, because, you know, you try and pass it down the line. And, you know, I mean, I think that's why it gets so, like, muddled and confused with this TyLoo team.
In their practice, right, he said that they would do something, pause for 2 minutes so that he could then say it, give it to a translator who would then tell them what they were saying. And he said, yeah, the players were getting really pissed off, because they were just sort of sat there like, we have to now pause for 2 whole minutes in between of our practices. And then obviously when you pause in a game, you get 30 seconds. So there's no translator. He can't just like go, oh, can we have 2 coaches, because I need to say it and then he needs to translate it. So now Peacemaker's not even there. It's just going to be, Bentet making these calls. So it's not even like going from complex to basic to the team. It's just the call going in very basic Chinese. And it was noticeable, actually, previously when I've seen them play. You'll see Bentet sometimes just doing stuff on his own. And there would be one of his teammates would die and go like running into like, and well, it would be running up behind Bentet. And he just wouldn't even react. He wouldn't even realize that there was anybody coming. because it's always been a problem for this team. So I'm obviously favouring Fnatic massively in this. Surprisingly, all of them speak Swedish, so it does help quite a bit. Obviously, we talk about their in-game leader. I think Golden, at least for me, has been an absolutely fantastic addition to this team.
No, you know, me and you have been big fans of Golden for a long time.
Well, we've met him a couple of times. One of them in
He is lovely,
Poland.
isn't he?
Yeah, very, very nice guy, and pretty damn good in-game leader as well.
But yeah, no, we're about to get into this one. Of course, we just saw Fnatic win out the knife round. They now get the pick of the sides, which is a nice little bonus for them on the map pick of TyLoo. I'm curious to see how Excurate plays, because I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard of him, Tom, until he joined this roster. I'm not going to pretend.
I've heard the name,
to be
but I've not seen him play. I think he was on Rekka, which was the same old team as Bentet. So there's at least a little bit of communication there. They can talk to each other. But then again, I suppose that was the same with Bondic as well. Because Bentet speaks English.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for clarifying that.
You look very confused.
No, I was just taking it all in. But yeah, Tom, it's about to be underway. Fnatic, they're over on the CT side. And initially, TyLoo going to be sending 5 players. Sorry, I got fooled by the decoy as well. Over here towards B.
JW wasn't fooled.
No, he was not. Look at him go. JW, look at the legs on this man. He's all the way up in mid. He's got so much information. Crims don't even need to be in mid anymore. He can start to rotate off. And oh, JW, he might have just broken this whole offensive. Golden's able to open up with one. And now Flusher, he's been flashed back, but he's still chiming in. It's actually Golden to help him out. Golden quickly finds himself here alone, but now that big flank in from JW. He spots the bomb. Won't be in a position to deny it. Keeps sneaking around, and now he finds himself 1v3. He's been spotted out. JW's in with the first. Gonna tap on the bomb. They have to peek into this. He is just gonna be faking. Time's running low. The kit. I think that was on Golden.
There wasn't a kit.
Yeah, there wasn't a kit. JW gonna go down. No time. Buntat finds the head. TyLoo going to be in with their first round.
No, a very... I think that's what we can just sort of expect from TyLoo. Very basic strategy, running straight in towards that B site. And yeah, we've said they're very individually sound. 2 kills coming in from Bentet and somebody. Excurate with one of his own. And well, now we are going to have the force back in. Lots of smokes for the CT side. Now, especially over towards that B side of the map, that can just be frustrating. We actually saw that with the Virtus Pro Mouse Wars game yesterday, just investing a lot into smokes just to slow down a lot of that initial aggression. Bentet looking for any push, and then on the other side of the map, DD is just going to be waiting to catch anybody who attempts to push through middle again. As of yet, nothing really too crazy from either side, just waiting patiently. Wow. Still expecting the T side to be able to take this one home. They've invested into 3 rifles, a decent amount of utility as well ready for this execution, but now that the initial smoke has cleared, they are going to go peeking towards that drop spot, look to try and take control. Still no real aggression out other than the slight peek from the CT side on towards Plateau, which has given them a little bit of information. Now drop is going to be challenged by the T side. Bentet will be the one pushing. He's got the AK and is somewhat alone, so if that can be picked up by the CT side, we saw yesterday how Sunny can use the AK-47, but DD, as I said, he was waiting to catch off any of those rotations. Another kill comes in for somebody as well. It does leave the remaining 3 players at least on the correct side of the map.
Again, he's able to get himself on with a CZ. Now Lekro in the sight on the Deagle. Somehow still alive. He's going to find himself 1v3. Whoop.
Moonwalking.
The new way to watch the action. Lekro goes down. That's TyLoo in with their second
Was the
round.
clock still ticking there, but
I
none
don't
of them
know.
could move? That came down to 7 seconds. I think it must have been. That would have been one way to win the round. Just kick out the server ports, and I don't know how servers work, I'll be honest. Like, just kick the server, And
You're acting as though like it's like a dog that's walked into the room.
hey,
A little kid.
I would never kick a dog.
No, that's true. I'd kick a cat.
Wow. Okay,
Just
so
being honest.
yeah, there you go. Animal
I
abuse.
I wouldn't kick any animal, Tom. I love animals.
With Harry.
Here we
Just
go.
remember that. That's just
Look
Harry
at
GG on
this.
Twitter.
TyLoo, they're over in mid.
At Peter.
And, well, Crims, he's gone down. Flush it. Doesn't manage to get much done. This should just be a nice clean round, and you hope it is. Golden, he's been hitting a couple of shots, though. He has been doing damage. In this round, he wasn't quite able to get it, but I think he tagged somebody. And I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, like, the actual player, somebody.
Let's see how much of a bonus round will come in from TyLoo. Last 2 rounds have been pretty clean. Every single player survives in the last, so lots of money made. And they'll have plenty of cash to buy into the next one. The question is how much damage they can do. And they're going to just go full, I want to almost say like envy mode. Just keep every single one. 2 Galils alongside the Mac-10s. They did actually lose the AK that they brought up into round number 2. So that's something at least. Early smokes will be thrown over, creating the walls. They're just going to go rushing into the site already. Golden will pick up the first. Mac-10 almost trades one back, but almost doesn't quite do enough. And Xcura tries to get his way into the site and completely fails. It is a shutdown round so far, but can they at least do some damage? Remember, this is the bonus round. All the SMGs losing their lives. Nade may be able to take one down. That will at least be JW falling. But Tet has found another one, at least making things that little bit more costly. That's something at least for the T side. And now they're going to look to try and break back with their 4x, then get whatever they want. Captain Mo can pick up the AWP if he likes. Actually goes for an AK. So maybe just going to be a bit of a faster play out from the T side. Not going for that AWP as of yet. Or in fact, okay, that's just dumb. There's nothing else that can be said about that. Captain Mo has 9,000, or had 9,000 at the beginning of the round, and rather dropping an AWP to his teammate, Xcura buys a glass cannon AWP. No reason for that at all. Absolutely none.
Oh.
I'm already triggered.
That's fine. You can sit there being an angry little man while the rest of us get on with our lives. How does this sound, Tom?
Oh, are you okay with
over
that?
in mid.
You think that's a good strategy to do?
Captain Mo.
You got anything?
No? Is just chilling out.
Carry it on.
He's going to be going blow for blow with Flusher eventually. And while they're all stacked up, Flusher's going to go aggressive. This does actually mean he goes down. That glass cannon AWP is able to open things up.
And of course, this is still at reset chance for the T side. They do have a little bit of extra money left. Of course, a lot of it on Captain Mo. Wonder why. Push will be coming in towards long. And they have, of course, already got themselves the opener. Captain Mo will be looking for a little bit more. JW will be close in mid and has support from Crims on long. They have been split into a 2-2, but by the looks of things, the T's are still going to look to try and dedicate themselves in towards this site. Somebody has to check the angle, checks the first, loses the battle to JW. Xcura gets taken down as well. JW doing work, but Bentet eventually will be there to trade. Already, Golden has rotated in, tries to hold the line, but DD does enough to remove him from this round at least. And Lekro into a 1 versus 3. The bomb will go down. 8 seconds to spare. Couple of low players gives him a chance. They desperately need this round. If he can get rid of Buntet, that's the only healthy player left. However, you can see the T side playing very passively indeed. They'll hear the drop down, the close player of Didi, able to give all the information over towards his side. Lekro has a kit, but other than that, not much else. And, well, he'll be caught from behind. TyLoo, they do break back. They destroy the economy of Fnatic early in this game. Now, well, it's only going to be some pistols, maybe an SMG or 2. Other than that, it's all going to be TyLoo.
Yeah, the really important thing there is I only just realized that Lekro's last name is Olofsson.
That's the important thing. That not the reset round, not the fact that Fnatic are now in a little bit of trouble. The important thing is that his name sounds a bit like Olaf.
Well, it doesn't. It is. Like, it doesn't sound a bit like it, Tom. You know, it is there. But here we go. It's a force buy for Fnatic as they look to try and keep TyLoo on their toes. JW going to be holding close to the broken wall with this shotgun. Starts to fall back from there. TyLoo have slowed right down. He's going to be over here out long along with DD. Just holding the angle of Crims. So patient. He's going to peek out. He gets the timing just as you think we're going to be stuck at a stalemate there. Fnatic, they take the man advantage, and now back off this TyLoo. They've headed over here towards B. All 4 players stacked up together, going to try and make their way in from long, but Fnatic, they've gone ahead and moved another player in. There's 4 people here for Fnatic. It's going to be an even fight as they head on in. Scout from Lecro finds an initial tag. Extra is going to go down. Golden this time doesn't get any work done. JW falls at the first hurdle, and now it is just Crims left. 1 versus 3. Bomb still is to go down, but he's just going to elect to save the AK.
Yeah, doesn't have a kit, doesn't have much utility either. Well, at least give them something to fight back with. Now, Crims, definitely one of the players who I would say has had a massive resurgence since the addition of Golden. So him having an AK-47, well, we actually saw yesterday how much one AK can do. I think it was Sunny got 4 kills over on that B site to win a round for Mouse Sports that never should have been. Of course, a very exciting game of Cobble that we saw yesterday, hoping for more of the same, but a very strong start for TyLoo. They've had some close rounds. They've had some sort of sketchy moments where things could have gone wrong. But ultimately, they've started to build up the cash. They had 3 players survive in this round. And Crims is going to be left with a solitary AK. He can probably drop his Deagle over to somebody else just to give them something to play with. But other than that, they really can't afford to invest much. Maybe an extra P250 or something onto Flusher. But other than that, it is just going to be another round where TyLoo have the chance to build up even more money. So a strong start to this T side. As said, in terms of their map pool, at least in the Asian scene, this is probably their best, if not maybe their second best map. It's that and sort of Cash. They play a lot of Mirage as well, but they have got off to a flying start, and it'll be next round where we finally get to see Fnatic with another buy, although still not going to have an AWP in play. So no counter to Excurate just yet.
JW going to be go down. They're not going to check it. JW. He does. Okay, I was going to say could have gone to something there. They keep pushing it. A little bit of team damage, and Crims, he's lined himself up too. This AK is going to be doing some serious work. They've bought time. Rotations have come in, and TyLoo, they're still committing to this A play. Now they look a bit hesitant. Somebody out from mid does dispatch a Flusher, but now it's like Crims, the 2 players that have something to fight with in this round. Crims is in with a 3rd. And this AK, Tom, you said it could do work, and that's what it's going to do. Crims is in with a 4th, and surely there's no way that TyLoo have managed to let this round elude them. It all falls to DD. He knows exactly where Crims is, but Crims has no reason to peek. The bomb is down. Lecro getting weary that the play could come in from behind. Crims is on for the ace, and he gets it done. Fnatic with 1 AK and a Deagle. They lock themselves in a second round. And I mean, it's so fitting because Tom, you were just saying about how the AKs yesterday, just 1 or 2 saved up can make all the difference. And Crims does exactly that.
Yeah, he has been. It also said he's been someone to definitely step up for Fnatic since, or in sort of recent times, recent tournaments, and what an incredible round it was. And you do have to worry a little bit for TyLoo that they weren't able to just clear him out of that angle. They had lots of utility. There was no Molotov thrown into the corner just to remove him from that spot. And that is a round that never should have been won. And that gives so much money, extra money over to that CT side as well. They would have only got 2,400. Instead, they now have an AWP onto JW. They have kits on 3 of the players, utility for days. And the T side are the ones who are looking a little bit weak on that economy. Now, both sides still up for a reset in the next round. So whoever wins this one is likely to win the next couple, depending on, of course, how the 4 spies go. But that is not a round that ever should have been lost for TyLoo. And, well, interestingly, they've got the majority of their players over towards that B side, but the bomb is alone by A. I'm not a big fan, especially considering if there's any level of aggression out from the CT side, it could be dropped. However, DD is going to slowly look to fall back towards the rest of his teammates. Now, they still have, as I said, they still have the chance to reset Fnatic here. So, although that was an incredible round from Crims, they're not out of the woods yet. They haven't got themselves to the point of safety. Once again, we're going to have that push in towards drop and trying to mask his steps by falling and obviously shooting at the same time. 30 seconds left on the clock. CT side will be ready and waiting. They've got Golden watching towards that drop spot, and they've held the utility till nice and late.
But Tatty's opened up. Lecro's going to try and trade, and actually he'll do a fantastic job of just that. Flusher. Going to shut down Mo. It is all on Execute. He does manage to sneak by. Flusher's going to go pushing in. There's no way that he survives this, and that is going to be a third for Fnatic. The Swedes have started to gain some ground and find their footing here.
Yeah, 5-3. Bomb going down makes things a little bit more interesting for the T side. Maybe they can invest into like a few pistols, but not anything too much. They've got a couple of players over 4,000. I wouldn't expect them to force into this round, especially considering a couple of players still, or I think it was 3 players still survived for Fnatic. So the reset chances have somewhat gone down a little bit, and they are going to invest some extra money into this round. Just some pistols, as said. Chance to do some damage, to see if they can do what Fnatic have already done to them previously in the game. JW looking for the opener with the AWP, but it's Captain Mo to decapitate him right at the beginning. Also nets an AWP for Excurate, who has been pretty deadly with it so far. Goes very aggressive, catches off Flusher with the push, and leaves 3 players remaining. Push back out from Crims. He has been the man to watch so far, but somebody manages another one, leaves it just on to 2 players. Lecro with 1, Crims again with another, giving them a chance, but he has to do everything once more. Hits the headshot and leaves it on to somebody. 1 versus 1. Crims is about to spot out the bomb. That will give him all the information that he needs. He knows that his opposition has to come to him. Left on the ramp, somebody desperately trying to spot out where Crims has gone. He should have a rough idea that he's over towards the site. Doesn't have much in terms of utility. Has 1 smoke to try and clear out something here. And Crims looking for the peak. Doesn't spot him out, and it will be somebody to win the round. A round stolen. Crims does his best with 3. But once again, mistakes coming out from the CT side, and now they're going to have to try and force the issue themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, he used to be a force to be reckoned with. That is the somebody I used to know as he steps up over on the T side there for them in the one-on-one. Now, man, Crims looks so good at the minute, and he has for a while for Fnatic. He really has gone through like the transition from he used to just be like stone cold support player, and now he's like the
everything.
The star.
He's the everything.
Look at him go. He's taking the AWP off JW. And he's still making plays. He's down in mid. He's opened up, and now Flusher over here at long.
He's feeling it. He's feeling it. That's what we say. I have to say, in the last round, I really like the fact that even with no armor and picking up AWP, Excure is just like, I'm running into the site. I like that. He removes the CTs. Flusher, aggressive angle. Molotov will force 1 off the angle. No chance for a re-peek either, so the CT side will take themselves a 2-man advantage. Still bear in mind, they've got a UMP, they've got barely any utility, and a CZ onto Golden as well. There's still a chance in this round for the Ts. Definitely still in this if you look at the weaponry. However, they've been struggling to even shut down Crims, and this push from JW. So much info. You can already see 3 players stacked up over towards site. He'll actually catch off somebody as well as they try to rotate back around. And JW is just going to take that extra man advantage and fall back to the site. Smart stuff from Fnatic. 3 men advantage now. Couple of them still low. And Excurate has spotted out the AWP, but there's not really much he can do about it unless Crims moves, or unless he tries to wallbang him.
It's the like all he has to see is Crims' little fingers just poking out. But Crims, I mean, Excurate is watching Crims decimate his team, and he's helpless.
Well, he's not helpless. He could have just said, there's an AWP watching that angle, don't peek. Like, that's the logical thing to do. By the way, I can see an AWPer looking down the ramp. Don't peek. And he peeks.
He's right. Tom, have you ever watched like National Geographic where the camera crews have to sit there and watch some poor animal get like torn up? That's Execute in that scenario. He's a helpless observer.
I'm going to tell you that most of the animals watched on that show don't speak the same language as the person watching. And they're not trying to win money at a tournament. Oh my god. The only thing I can think is maybe he did tell him and he was just that confident. He was like, no, I'll take the fight versus Crims, and then got shot anyway. Or they just don't understand each other, which at the same time may be the thing. Either way, we do have a sort of, well, obviously Excurate has the AWP. Everybody else has somewhat saved some money so that they can get a buy in the next round. It's not going to be a very good one. Captain Mo, blind, spamming, hoping to get that opener, but as of yet won't find anything. And it really has to be Excurate to make some sort of play in this round. Try and find something. Now, if he saves the AWP into the next, that would actually be one of the better cases. Unless, of course, they win the round, which they have managed to do previously with the pistols. Captain Mo, desperate to try and find JW. I don't think he's going to walk back into that angle with that many bullets flying through the smoke, but as said, mistakes have been made so far in this game. Buntet attempting to try and fake out the drop sound, and Golden is going to go looking. Has the UMP. And here comes Excurate. Actually switches away the weapon and not going to be able to find anything as of yet. The rest of his team looking to try and make their way out towards the platform. Molotovs are going to clear JW off the angle, and actually Captain Mo, he spams so many bullets, eventually he gets a kill.
And now with 30 seconds left, they're going to start to make their way in, and these pistols are going to be lethal up close, but Lekro, he's going to be in with 3, wants to try and take a 4th. Golden does take that away from him, and now it all falls to Buntet. He's been going on a lengthy flank. He's going to be enough to get rid of Crims, but surely nothing more as Flusher is able to trade. Now, I've been pretty impressed with TyLoo so far. I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. Coming into this, you know, I've seen them play a hell of a lot, and you know, they made the changes, obviously bringing Excurate in. He was kind of the unknown factor for me, and I just didn't see them get off to such a good start. It has slowed down a bit. There's no denying that, but I think you know, they're looking good right now. This is by no means a bad scoreline, and a chance now for them to do a little bit more damage as they force sport down. The only issue is Fnatic have 4 players stacked up here inside of B. They actually rotated Cribs off, so as I say that, it's a lie.
I think that was always the thing, though, with the Chinese teams, is that the T side was normally pretty good. Like, you could see some decent T sides coming out because it does just come down to pushing together, trading frags. That's fairly basic. It's the CT side I'm waiting to see. This round so far has been shut down. Somebody has still been putting up some numbers for his team. Currently 10 and 7. Captain Mo actually up the top there with him. DD at least managed to do a little bit of extra damage, but he's low on HP. He shouldn't be able to get anything more done, and Lekro will be there to shut him down. 6 and 6. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm waiting to see the CT side from TyLoo, because that's where those communication issues really come in. That's where this team can fall flat on its face. I don't think there was any doubt that individually they are sound and that on the T side they can put up numbers. On Mirage, in fact, if we get that far, I will be expecting a decent T side to come out from TyLoo. It's just the CT sides that always come into question. Either way, T side, they're back on a buy. It's AKs across the board. No AWP for them this time, which has been a fairly decent avenue of finding those entries. JW back on the AWP for the CTs as well, and he's looking to go aggressive. The smoke, of course, not going to let him find anything just yet, and he will actually be just sat hidden in the corner. Now, there's 3 Molotovs over on that T side. I'm hoping, for their sake, that one of them is going to go into this corner. He's waiting on the other side and actually doesn't connect the shot. It will be Captain Mo to find the opener. They now go barreling in towards the site. Only 2 CTs here to defend. However, one of them, Lekro, who has been doing very well so far. Sprayed through the smoke. Actually, Bomb just going to be going down. He's going to ignore it. Looks for the rest of the players. Catches off Buntet, but DD is there to trade.
He's going down. DD's on a bit of a roll. Okay, that's 3 massive frags. Crims is able to pick him up, but it comes down to a 1-on-2. The bomb's been ticking for a while, and Crims, he is going to try and go for it. Starts to push on in. He doesn't see him. Excurate misses that opportunity. Now it is just somebody left. 1v1, and he wins it out. TyLoo, they managed to save that round there at the end, and it's Some nice shots from DD do lock in that 7. That's going to be the not the reset rather, but they do get Fnatic into a pretty bad situation. The reset is looming over either side here. This round is massive. It's effectively a 2-for-1 because the team that loses is forced buying into the last round of the half. And Tom, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I think this series could legitimately go 3 maps, and if it does, I think if we end up on Mirage, there's a good chance TyLoo could win. I've been impressed so far.
I'm just waiting for a CT side. I think it's still going to be 2-0 Fnatic, I'll be honest.
Ooh, Flusher, they nearly line up for him. He actually legs Buntet. Didn't even mean to. Buntet's feeling very unfortunate there.
Of course he meant to. It's all skill. There's no such thing as luck. T-side. Making their way early in towards mid. Somebody's still just waiting patiently, just in case there's any aggression over towards long. Instead, it's more of the push on the other side, and Crims has sprayed down 2. Excurate does manage to trade a couple back, though. At least bringing it that little bit closer. JW's caught while going aggressive as well, and this has quickly swung back into a very good position for the T side, making their way in different directions, though. They're playing 2 separate games. Maybe a little bit of a fake. Lekr0 will be sat here with the AWP. Somebody just waiting patiently. I think he's hoping that Excurate will make some sort of move, but by the looks of it, they're both doing that. Both teammates just sit waiting, hoping that there's some sort of aggression or hoping that somebody will make the push. It's actually, well, it is going to be somebody to make the push. Flashbang's thrown in. This will allow for the push onto the A side, but this doesn't really help. And if the bomb goes down, this round is over. There's only 20 seconds left. He has to go running all the way back around. This is going to be very, very close for the time. If he gets onto the site, well, he basically needs his teammate to create a little bit of a distraction so that he can cross. Because if he's dropped, this round is over. Golden isn't going to be able to do anything here. And with just a matter of seconds, the bomb will be going down. But Golden has already turned this into a 2v1. Waits for his teammate Lekr0 to come in. They don't have any utility. They don't have a kit. Somebody turns it back into the 1 versus 1. And now Lekr0 rounding the corner with the AWP. Somebody looking to clutch it, but Lekr0 finds the frag. 7-7. A very close round in the end, on time and in the clutch, but it's Fnatic to even things up once again.
Yeah, the one positive here for TyLoo is they get that bomb down, and also Lekr0 was the only man who survived. So the buy here for Fnatic isn't really going to be that good. Like, neither team is in a great spot. The AWP carried forward is going to be great, but other than that, they are going to be scraping a buy together, obviously. Like, they won the round. So, and it's the last of the half, so it's forced by regardless. But when you look at it, you know, it's not ideal. That looks like it could be a force. So, it's a good chance for TyLoo to potentially find themselves in 8th. Somebody going to be picking up a Mac 10 and Buntet on the UMP. AK out for Excurate. And they don't make their way towards B. It looks like it could just be a rush, and you've got the SMGs to get in there fast. Lekr0 is over at the coop. JW going to be holding close. Somebody finds him. And now Lekr0 gets burnt out. He does smoke it. They know that he's here. He's been tagged to 4 HP. Brim's trying to do what he can. Still been able to flush out Lekr0 in the back of the site, and he's actually doing damage. Somebody goes through. He's in with a second. The Mac 10 claims another. And that's going to be an 8-7 half. TyLoo, they actually managed to win out the half on their T side. But this is where things get tricky for them.
Yeah. This is definitely a map where rotations, gambles are very important, and well, this is where we'll see if that communication has improved, or if it is still going to be one of those problems. Like, again, they've still got the individual talent. There's a possibility that they can take this over the line. And as you said, if it goes to Mirage, I think things could get very interesting. The problem I have is if they lose this map, I just don't see them winning Inferno. I don't see them winning it versus Fnatic. I think that map's so crucial when it comes to CT side rotations, and I just think Fnatic are a very good Inferno team. So I think it's going to be very, very tough for them indeed. Either way, we'll have to find out after this map, but for now, we've actually got the same buy. It's interesting. Both teams having a CZ HE player, no kit. T's have just gone for straight Kevlar. They're just going to try and brute force their way through this round. Looking like we're going to see a split towards the A site through drop. There's actually multiple players here. This is really interesting from the CT side. They're really looking to try and control drop early on. It will be a quick trade, and now they actually go splitting back towards the site. It's actually quite like that from TyLoo. Now, okay, it's going to be a little bit difficult because they should fall over towards this side. But actually, they're finding all of the frags. It's only going to be left onto Golden. 9 HP. Again, we're going to see some moonwalking in the server. But eventually, there's no way. There's absolutely no way Golden wins this. And it's, yeah, a very good pistol round from TyLoo. That was interesting. I like it.
It was. And I tell you what, I often harp on about how, like, you know, when people give the whole, oh, you know, in like the Asian world, they say if they do like weird strats. And normally I'm like, nah, you're just like saying that, right? But that genuinely was odd, but it worked. And that was cool, you know? Like it was.
But it gave very quick rotations. I quite like it.
I'm a fan. TyLoo, I like that decision. And nets them the pistol round. The gamble pays off. And, well, now, going to be a force buy coming in for Fnatic. Three players over here towards B. They're going to try and take control of the drop down. Is the first man in. He has support from Golden. Did he get spotted? But they've already rotated players around into connector. She's now over a long let grow. Gonna get rid of Excurate there, and Captain Mo and Didi, the two players that were in connector, are fast to rotate around to A. That's now going to put the pressure on Bunta as he takes up their position in connector on his lonesome let crow. Spotted out Captain Mo. He's going to get tagged within inches of his life. And then finished off by Didi. Flash is still selling. I was going to say this fake, but the bomb's actually going to start to rotate back around, and Golden now looks to try and cut off these rotations. As the rest of Fnatic go for the play out towards A.
Yeah, both players actually right at the back of the site. Now, they've got the range advantage, of course. They're the ones with the rifles. A very safe buy from the CT side. Buntet takes the head off one. Captain Mo has done some damage to another. Push will be coming in. Only 20 seconds left on the clock. Buntet finds one more. Flusher will be able to trade things back. But JW is in such a horrible position. 10 seconds left. Really just has to go down. And it will be 10-7 in favor of TyLoo. As said, a very, very safe buy going into that second round. Mostly rifles, and we will actually have a player dropping from the server. And I think they're also going to look, because I think that is actually, the freezes that we're seeing, I think that's actually affecting the players and not just GoTV. So I think we are going to have a little bit of a technical pause. But yeah, TyLoo now winning both pistols in this matchup. Obviously, Sunny made a bit of a joke yesterday saying that 5 out of 6 pistols was not enough for them. That was something that they wanted to improve on, wanted all 6. But TyLoo have definitely got themselves in a decent position here. The question is, can Fnatic bounce back? Because although, like, I'm still going to be favouring them on Mirage, even if it goes that far. They're a team that love to play Mirage. I think pretty much all iterations of this roster have liked playing Mirage. The problem I find, though, is it's that one map, the one map that no matter what sort of state Asian CS has been in, it's that one map that they've always been able to upset, whether it was against, like, Na'Vi when they were, like, flying high. I think they've beaten, like, Virtus Pro been beaten by Vici. I think TyLoo, did they beat SK on that map as well? I'm pretty sure they did. Like, over the sort of years of StarSeries, that has been the one map where you go, nah, just don't. Just don't. I actually remember when I think it was me, Matt, and the coach at the time of SK, and they were talking about what maps they were going to be choosing. I made a joke just saying, don't pick Mirage, and they picked Mirage and they lost. And I was just sat there just like, it's that one map. So if they can get it that far, I'll actually be really excited for the conclusion of this series. And they're doing pretty well so far, at least. They're in the lead.
Yeah, it's like those ads. This one weird trick, you know, you will... You will beat the Swedes.
You will have abs for days.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's the one, isn't it?
The thing that I love is like it looks like JW and Lecro go to the same barber. Just you wait, look at them.
And then me and Crims do as well.
Yeah, that's true, Tom. That is true.
And clearly, well, it makes you very, very good at Counter-Strike, you know. Being bored. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm superb. I like the reason I obviously don't play professionally is because I wouldn't want to like just ruin the scene with like bringing the UK back to the top. Smoothie's doing that instead.
Sure.
Hey, that Epsilon roster's been
No,
pretty
it
solid.
is.
The TyLoo guys
It
looking
is
happy.
British.
I'd like to see them at least win a map. Because TyLoo.
Okay, I was going to say, sorry, you were just talking about a different roster.
No,
Like,
I said the TyLoo guys look
Yeah,
very
yeah, no, I
happy.
know.
Then I said they'd like to win a map. There was
yeah,
a perfect
no.
transition
They
there.
do look happy, and you know, I think there's good reason to look happy. You've been playing well so far. You're 3 rounds up over Fnatic. Of course, you know they can kind of write yesterday off a little bit. You know, you come into it versus FaZe. FaZe, I think they're so driven right now to actually, you know, win like one of these events because it feels like they get so many things stripped away from them. Where it's like they're a team that are, you know, no doubt contenders for #1 in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And it feels like every time they're about to like win, you know, like get like a big event win under their belts, something happens where like they just don't quite show up. I mean, like the majors have always been like not so great for the other events, you know, that they do fare better at. But I think they would definitely like a few more event wins. So they're eager to win, and obviously, you know, they just kind of chewed through TyLoo. It felt like, you know, they were never really in it.
Well, they're one of those teams that is always going to be like semi-finalist or finalist at an event. So TyLoo would have gone into that. The thing is that's the one thing that TyLoo do have as their advantage. They're going in with people having absolutely no expectations of this team whatsoever. Like, if they bomb out 0 and 3, that's what is expected. Like, that's pretty much what we've got to. Like, no one is sitting here expecting them to beat Fnatic. No one's was sat there expecting them to beat FaZe. Maybe a few Chinese guys at home might be like the die-hard fans of TyLoo, just like, no, they've got to be winning this. But that's the one real advantage they have. So you can see they are having fun with it. And that sometimes that actually works out. Like, we did see the Virtus Pro guys yesterday. Definitely nowhere near as much pressure, at least to like win the tournament or anything as before. And they were having a laugh. And that actually seemed to work much better for them. On Cobblestone, they play very, very well. They seem to enjoy the game itself, and it definitely showed. And Mihu was having a great old time yesterday. I'm looking forward to casting his game today, where his opposition definitely isn't quite up to the same standard. It's going to be MVP rather than, of course, Mouse Sports. But yeah, I think we're just waiting. Obviously, Crim's not in the server, and I'm hoping they're going to be sorting things out fairly soon. Yeah, the Fnatic guys look fairly chill though. Okay, so it's just the lag in the server. So hopefully that will get sorted out fairly soon. Obviously, next map coming up will be Inferno. Do you see any chance for TyLoo on Inferno? We did have the
I'm
sort of...
be honest, I think it has to go 3 maps if TyLoo want to win. But I think they could. That's the scary thing, right? Like
They did. I think it was more of a surprise factor. But were they Luminosity at the time, or were they already SK when they beat? I think they might have still been Luminosity. It was a long, long time ago when that was one of the first real surprises that TyLoo ever threw in, was to actually beat the current SK on Inferno. I think they beat them in the best of 3, didn't they? That was like the first real surprise of TyLoo, and it was just I remember it because they were playing. That they caught everyone off guard, because the common way to play Inferno is obviously taking a fair bit of aggression, having the smokes down banana, and they just sat all the way at the back of the B site. Like, they were so far back that all the executions that SK had, all the Molotovs didn't actually reach them. Like, none of them hit, so it was just every time it came down to sheer aim, and that is where we know that the Asian teams obviously are at the peak. Like, these guys practice like crazy. So that's
I love it. They're all like you can tell they're all like just throwing some banter around, you know, like doing like so look they're so animated. Like Fnatic on the other hand, very, very serious about how they play. But I think, you know, to have it like an easygoing attitude is quite important. Of course,
I'm a bit sad that Vici aren't here, because I always enjoyed watching Zoking play, just because it's like he was having a battle with his mouse at the mouse mat, just because the level of movement that he had to have to actually move properly. Like, I think he must have such a low sensitivity, because it just like he was genuinely fighting an invisible man with his mouse every time he played, and that I just loved watching that. Maybe not so much the game, just have a Zoking cam whenever he's here.
I think as well the issue is right now, if I heard right, is there with the lag issue in the server, and so Crims is refusing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, good on him.
That's
so
fair
now
enough.
they're working hard to get that sorted. Crims, of course, the warrior taking one for the team.
What I did notice, I'm pretty sure that whenever it like froze like that,
The timer kept going,
the clock
it's like
keeps ticking, which that's the big thing. Like if it was sort of like frozen and then it just came, like, okay, that's still really bad. That's still really frustrating. But if the clock keeps ticking, then whoever's on the T side is just absolutely screwed. And it happened previously where Letcrow was sort of crouched on the site with what? It was like 10 HP and it froze and it ticked like another 10, 15 seconds and that almost lost TyLoo the round. So, yeah, definitely something that needs to be sorted. I don't know what's the ETA on that. I wonder if we may go to some sort of pause because I don't know how quickly this is going to be fixed.
No, I mean, hoping soon, obviously, but yeah, it could be a bit of a lengthy, delay. Of course. Well, that monitor's very low. That's weird to me. But then again,
it's not quite low as ours.
You see how some of the pros play, like the monitors being like literally in their faces.
Well, one of the players, maybe that's what it is. He saw Bondic play and he went, "That's a bit odd. Let's try something of my own." I like again. Bondic's another person I like watching play because he sits so close to the monitor. You actually have to wonder if he has to physically turn his head whenever he's trying to like look to the right of the screen. Like you talk about playing 4-3, he's playing like 1-1 because his eyes are almost on the screen itself. There's a lot of sort of peculiar things. I'm pretty sure Maniac might play inverted mouse.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Which that's always, I used to play on like, when I played console on like Halo 1, I used to play inverted.
Why? How does anyone like, I'm convinced the way that you end up on inverted is you either only played Flight Sim or you accidentally inverted and then
it was like,
got used to it.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what I did when I was a kid. I did it by accident, just got used to it. But then and then everybody else
Like,
never played it.
How
So
does anyone like, oh yeah, up means down, sweet. Like, that's just great, instinctively. That's perfect.
but it is like, things like I had a teacher at school who...
Why not just do left means right while we're at it, just go fully...
This guy used to hold his... only you can see this, of course, but he used to use his mouse upside down, and then he would use his palms to click the left and right on his mouse.
It's just a freak.
And then, so obviously then this would also be automatically inverted because you're holding the mouse upside down. So it was inverted and using his palm. Yeah. It also, then again though, he was an art teacher who also taught IT. So I wonder if that was maybe just him trying to be a little bit abstract with the way he uses a mouse. Just trying to throw art into everything, which you can't do. I didn't do that well in IT, in case you didn't realise.
Oh, okay. So we just been told that the server is almost fixed, and that's always good. You love to hear it, of course. Yeah, I really do, because quite frankly, Tom, we're talking about your art teacher. Like, we've
talking about
extinguished our options here.
Weird mouse stuff.
Well and truly clutching at straws.
Well, I think Existence was another one who had some like weird stuff. I think his movement keys were something really odd. Like I think it was like full stop.
Oh, but that's really common. Like, because obviously, like back in the day, you didn't have a lot of room because when you play on like LAN, it was just kind of chuck everyone into one room. Oh, we've only been able to rent like the dining room at some like big thing, so let's try and get all 400 of you in. And there was just like no room. So
I like the idea that
everyone like played with their keyboards in just like the weirdest positions, and that's why.
Isn't Flusher one of them? Where
yeah, he has it like I don't know what buttons he uses exactly, but yeah, it's odd. Because if you read it out, it's like, oh yeah, I use like J, K, L, and enter to get around, and it's like how that it just makes no...
J, K, L, and enter.
Maybe that one is a bit far fetched.
I love the idea. What would that even be? Like you'd have left and right, then up, and then enter just on the other side, which you have to then click with your thumb. Then again, Albert, our friend, his one is genuinely, I don't know how he does it. It's one of the most painful things I've ever tried to do, which is WASD. So anybody who has their keyboard, which I imagine a lot of you do, WASD to move, but then left shift using his thumb to crouch. Now I can do that for maybe about 5 or 6 seconds, and then it genuinely hurts my hand. So I think he must just have something wrong with him. I suggested to him.
He heard about the saying of like the claw grip, and just presumed that that even
was
applied
the
to the keyboard, and it's like, yeah, I claw grip the keyboard.
But yeah, I then said to him like, why don't you just use your pinky finger? And he went, no, that hurts. I'm like, how does your hand work? Is your thumb on the wrong side of your hand? Like he's got his thumb where his pinky should be and his pinky where his thumb should be. That would make more sense to me than what he does, which my hand actually hurts now just from like attempting to do it while I'm sat in here. Even though only you can see what I'm doing and nobody else can. Either way, everybody is in the server. From what I can see.
The server's actually back up. It went down for a moment. Yeah, everyone's back in.
Well, that's how you fix stuff most of the time.
They've all put their headsets back on.
Yeah,
Crims kind of even gave like a little. It was. I can't describe it. It was like a fist bump combined with like a gun fingers. It was just like a little bit of everything.
I didn't see it, and that sounds insane.
Yeah, I don't know. He went the full distance. So yeah, everyone's back in. It looks like we should be getting back into this any second now. And of course, to catch anyone up who's just joining us, it hasn't just been me and Tom chatting a load of rubbish. It is 10-7 right now. TyLoo currently 3 rounds up over the Swedes here as we move into their CT side. They've just got the pistol run out of the way in the second half, which they were able to win out. They then were able to convert the anti-eco as well, thus meaning in this round there is no money left for Fnatic to buy up with. This is a chance for TyLoo to keep things clean, pad those stats, and make some money.
Yeah, and they'll be next to nothing. It'll just be 1 P250 for Lecro, and that's all they can really afford to buy. They want to make sure they at least have themselves some AKs, a bit of utility. There's a decent chance as well for the CT side to make up a decent amount of cash, so you've got Xcura and somebody actually picking up the MP9s, which I know are a personal favorite of yours. I'm a big fan of the gun as well, actually. I still wonder why we even see like MP7s and stuff, although Chris J, that was part of his 13 kills in 3-round thriller that we saw yesterday. A lot of that was down to the MP7 getting quite a few. By the looks of things, well, I imagine at least the T-side just want to get this round over and done with as quickly as possible, try and do a little bit of damage straight through drop, through the fire. We will see Lecro go, and it is just going to be a mow down. Somebody already picking up 3 kills, $1,800 made, and flawless from TyLoo. Buy will be in this next round from Fnatic. And yeah, CT side, they've made themselves quite a bit of money actually in the last couple of rounds. Obviously, there were a few players surviving over on the previous side. I think Lecro may have found 1 with the Deagle or something like that. It was a couple of kills, but not anything that really caused too much damage. Xcura will be picking up that AWP once again, and they will keep 1 of the MP9s into this next.
Yeah, Fnatic already going to be sending 4 players over here towards B. Flush it. Holds off mid JW. He's already out. The smokes are down. He's just going to go pushing right on by. There's no information for TyLoo. This man's here. Somebody's actually holding close, and he didn't manage to spot him. I think there was a gap in the smoke, and JW just caught the lucky timing, so he's already up on plat, and they are none the wiser. This could be fairly massive, but Tet does check it. Now JW, he's been rustled, and he's going to go down. So that will be man advantage for TyLoo early on. 2 players down here in drop. They're going to boost Crims out, and that's like the universal sign of retreat. Golden's going to try and sell this while the rest of the guys start a rotation back round. You imagine they're going to stick around a bit here, maybe. See if Golden can find much. Actually, they're going to go for this. They throw the smoke in. Whoops, somebody gets caught off guard in the smoke, and Flush is able to find it. Now they go pushing in. 1 man up close. It's Quintet. He only gets himself 1. There is still a player here inside of the site. Now it's going to be DD. Xcura's rotated in to try and help, and the bomb can't go down just yet. They're going to boost up Lecro. He peeks. Already DD's gone down. Xcura tags him. How on earth does Lecro survive that shot from the AWP? I will never know. But Fnatic, they grabbed themselves an 8th.
Maybe the tree helped him a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, it will be 11-8. A little bit confused with the sheer level of aggression from somebody there, just playing like on the edge of the smoke and then just left completely in the open. The only way he survives that is if there's actually nobody there. So a bit of a mistake. CT side, they do still have enough money to actually buy into this round, although somebody's still going to have to play with an SMG instead. T side, keep a few players left alive, but they are still on for a reset. And this has been the problem for Fnatic so far in this game. They haven't really got a streak of too many rounds together. JW on the AWP is looking for that opening kill, but as of yet. Nothing to be found. Somebody once again is going to be playing up close. Currently the top fragger in the server. Lecro, only 1 kill from behind, but here we go. Push in towards the site. Somebody has said he's still hiding in that corner, yet to be cleared. 4 players now here for the CT side, yet to be a rotation from Captain Mo. And tag low, but there goes the SMG. Somebody finds 2. The trades in will be there for Fnatic. Then left on to Excura on the site. Gets a first, misses the second flick. Has to watch out for JW, who's rounding the corner, although the smoke does shroud him for a second. But now Captain Mo left into a 1v2. Spots out Lecro, doesn't connect the shots. Hits the dink eventually. Enough damage done, but he's only on 13 HP himself, and there isn't that much of a reason to peek here. JW rounds the corner. Captain Mo manages that kill. Now into the 1 versus 1. 1 bullet will do it for either player. Smoke gives him a little bit of a gap, but he doesn't know how far across Lecro has actually gone. Not much information for Captain Mo at all, and Lecro is just looking to try and play things nice and patient over towards the chicken coop, and it looks like Mo may just back straight into his opponent, slowly crouching. He has absolutely no clue here, and this should be the easiest kill of Lecro's life, not knowing that his opponent across. A nice attempt from Captain Mo, and Lecro will win them the round.
Yeah, but he just kind of got mugged off at the end because he thought he got the AWP, and then he realizes he gets the M4 instead that fell right on top of it, which is just unlucky because now they actually can't afford to field one. JW's pretty understandably a bit frustrated, especially because the M4 is just inferior to the AK. And luckily enough for them, it is going to be an eco for TyLoo. CZ and Armor brought up for DD. Let's see if they can get anything done with that. Captain Mo's over at long. He's got the D, going to take a peek out, but going to be set back by the Molotov. Fnatic now into mid. Do they check the corner? DD's able to get 1. That's it for him. It's Crim's trade. Somebody going to go down as well. And whoop, it's a flurry of death. Crim's just going to go ahead and get that bomb down. Well, Bentet, only with the USP. Try and find something, but you don't imagine he's going to. Flusher shuts him down, and that's a 10-11.5 now, as Fnatic get themselves another round. There is now money for TyLoo to invest. The AWP going to be out on somebody.
He actually goes glass cannon. So not going to give it over to Excura either. Buys an incendiary instead. Now, they are very limited on utility, so I can somewhat understand it, but interesting to see that the AWP has now switched hands. Now, he's been the man over towards this B side of the map, playing towards Plat. Molotov is literally going to be there just to try and set him up with that AWP. And we do have both JW and Lecro waiting here. These have built up a little bit of extra money, but not anything to write home about just yet. They don't have the AWP in this round. There's a little bit of aggression now, looking to be snuck out. Of course, by JW. Playing a similar role to what we saw Rops doing yesterday, actually. Just basically trying to be a pain. Golden tries to cover the footsteps of Crims. They're just going to go pushing in towards that drop. Has support as well. The T's definitely looking like they're going to be going towards the B site here. And in terms of the CT side defense, they've got 3 players ready and waiting on the site. Somebody is going to be fairly close with that AWP. Just looking to try and hold on towards that broken wall. Drop down push will be coming in the meantime, so he'll need his teammates to defend it, but already he nets the first kill. Looking to try and double back around towards drop, misses the shot. Golden will at least overwhelm him, but it's still going to be back to a 3 versus 2. Make it just 1, as JW is all that remains of this defense, as Captain Mo has sprayed down a couple. Question is, can JW do anything here? It looks like Captain Mo has his number, although the spray goes a little bit wild. JW finds a second as well. And suddenly all that is left is Excura. Can't pronounce his name, but that was way too close. JW should never have got that close.
Man, just like the hype around that, it was going so well right until the very end when Excura got in the way.
Yeah, Excura's name.
That's a 12th round for TyLoo. You see JW, kind of, the cogs start turning. You're like, no, he can do this, but it was DD rather who goes in for the peak to try and get the trade. It's just a second too late, but luckily enough, Excura is there. The new addition to TyLoo locks them in at this 12th round. The buy is going to be coming back for Fnatic. UMP up on Golden. He takes the hit in terms of the firepower for the extra utility. And early on, Fnatic going to be showing some love over here to mid. Golden and Flusher both there, but Golden looking like he was going to fall back. He's actually going to keep it up, anticipating that perhaps a push might come out from TyLoo for some information. Exkura and Buntek going to turn their attention over here towards long B, and they start to they were starting to push on down. Buntek now has to go ahead and focus on drop, but they have been relatively relaxed in this round, which is very different to the style we've seen TyLoo play in the previous couple. Crims, he's been allowed to sneak down. They've got no idea. DD is holding it, admittedly. And in a way, this could catch Crims off guard, but the timing, that is not what you want to see. Crims now has a positioning. Luckily enough, Buntek is there to trade it. Not trade, so pick him up. Golden, he's the man to trade it in mid, but that's the bomb drop. Somebody's found it. Golden on his own, going to go ahead and try and claw back some ground over here towards A. They lose somebody down in mid. Like Grote. And the gang are going to start to progress in towards A. Golden goes down in 2 versus 3. Look at this flank from Exkura. He's got the AWP in hand. He's coming in from behind. He drops Flusher. And now it's Letcro. 1v3. Exkura in with 2. And that's TyLoo onto a 13th. Starting to get scary if you're Fnatic. Your economy's been reset. You're down in the dumps. And TyLoo, this should be an easy 14th round.
It's interesting with for Fnatic, they're able to get so much like map control that they should never be allowed. And yet TyLoo is still winning these rounds. Like 2 players managed to sneak. Well, firstly, Crims gets through drop without anybody really noticing, and just Bentet happens to background into his position. And then the same can be said for Golden. He then trades that kill and he gets into a ridiculous position as well. But somehow the CT side just seemed to get the jump on both players, even though realistically they shouldn't have had too much information about that point. So a little bit of luck going the way of TyLoo. Still, as you said, in terms of economy, they're definitely in the driver's seat here. 13-10, 3 rounds needed for them to take this first map. Versus Fnatic as well. A team that, well, they were saying earlier, definitely looked like they got one of the best draws, if not the best draw possible. Drop. It's going to be the point of contention. Captain Mo just sprays down 3. The round is as good as done. The bomb has been dropped. JW having a little bit of a sketchy battle, but Captain Mo's still on fire at the moment. And it will be 14-10. A flawless round coming out from the CT side, building up that economy. And now we are going to have a pause. I imagine this is a tactical one called by Golden. Yeah, it is. And so T-side, they're going to buy. They still don't have a flawless buy here. Golden is going to be down onto a Galil. And JW actually doesn't have much cash, so either has to go for just a straight AK armor, which is actually what he's going to do. It's nice. Nice cleanup from Captain Mo. Definitely seems to be a bit more awake in this second half. And there isn't really anybody slacking over on that CT side. It's been a fairly strong performance. Exkura currently the one at the bottom of the team, and he's still been having impact. So we're waiting to see if Fnatic are going to be able to turn this around. This is their chance. It's here and now. Otherwise, without a bomb plant, they won't even have a good buy going into the next round. And somebody confident enough in their position that he's going to keep the MP9.
And I mean, can you blame him? He's looked very good right now for TyLoo. We're approaching the latter few rounds of this match. Execute the timing just not there for him. That could have been an advantage found early on, and now Crims going to go peeking on in. Buntet wins that. That's the man that headed towards drop, taken out, and he's been the kind of the star for Fnatic, although he has quietened down. Somebody going to drop the smoke. He tries to hide it. JW actually is able to find him. DD there to trade. They've spied Execure in the back of Coop. He's going to go ahead and exit. Flusher goes down. DD's onto a second now. Remaining players, they're trying to mop this up, and they are able to find him. The rotations have already arrived. TyLoo have 3 players here. Captain Mo going to drop Golden. It all falls to Electro. 1v3, and it's not meant to be. Execure lands the shot, and TyLoo, they're going to reach map point here on Cobblestone. 15-10. The force buy going to be coming in from Fnatic. It's not looking great. TyLoo, they want to try and win this, and I mean, they've looked really good, Tom. I wasn't expecting much, I won't lie. I think they have a lot of talent.
Well, when they
But,
get 16-2'd yesterday,
yeah, exactly.
you can't
And
really go into
the
expecting
reason
too
for that
much.
is exactly that, right? I mean, I figure that's going to be quite a hit to the old morale. And Fnatic, they've seemed pretty driven to try and up their wins at some of these events. It's going to be the B play. Somebody holding close to the broken wall. He's able to get one. He does drop him, but set now. Support from DD. Golden's going to be boosted up. He has to make an insane play. And Golden, he gets one. Wants to make it two, but Mintek ducks and weaves. Captain Mo doubles down at the end, and TyLoo, they will win out map number 1. It's 16-10 in their favor. And Tom, I mean, I think if this goes 3 maps, I honestly think TyLoo can take it.
They can take it in 2. Let's see if they can do it on Inferno. I don't think they will. I think is definitely a map that Fnatic have a clear advantage on. But yeah, the strong performance on cobblestone. Both pistol wins definitely helped them out in getting that economy rolling. And I do feel like that was the one thing that really let Fnatic down a lot through this game, was they weren't able to string too many rounds together. They made some mistakes versus pistols, especially in the first half. They had that round where they dropped the AWP, Excurate managed to get Zit, and then we see somebody actually clutch out 1 versus 2. But that was another thing that you do have to really give props over to the Asian side for, is that in the sort of clutch situations or in the big moments, they definitely seem to have the players that took it home. Like we saw Captain Mo have a very strong CT side. Oh, it's unusual to get a highlight of the knife round.
You know,
But that's Crims
it.
on the CT side was excellent, but on the T side he went very, very quiet, and it seemed to turn to Lecro to actually step up, and he did somewhat, but it just wasn't able to do enough. This was ridiculous from Crims, and this sort of like, this shows, like in terms of this game, that the Fnatic definitely were given their chances. Like they took that round from absolutely nothing after an incredible start.
Yeah, the thing that I love is it's not like we're looking at this and like, oh, Fnatic played terribly, TyLoo, you know, they just kind of like played, you know. TyLoo played really quite well, I think. Like, it was a very good showing, and at a critical time as well. I think it would be devastating for them to have come all the way here to then just, you know, be sent home on day 2. So, looking like they could actually pose a serious threat to Fnatic here in this best of 3. They win out map number 1. And I'm hoping we get to see this one go the distance, Tom. I really am.
Otherwise, Fnatic are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I want to see the recovery from Fnatic, but then I also want to see how Mirage plays out between these two teams.
I think that might be taken from when the server crashed. Otherwise, there were quite a few kills missing.
Otherwise, there was a lot of rounds where everyone just saved.
Yeah.
Because violence isn't always the answer. Contrary to what I think it was Chad said yesterday on the mainstream, it's not.
I don't know. I feel like in Counter-Strike, maybe it is. Although I suppose there's rounds you can win by time. There you go. You could just win all of them by time. I'd say good luck with that. I'd say definitely good luck with that. Either way, I don't want any more of us waffling. There's been far too much of that already, thanks to the technical issues we've had, of course. So we're going to be going off to a break. Second map will be Inferno. Fnatic looking to turn it around, and we'll see you there.
LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? Dreamteam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join Dreamteam.gg today.
Make it happen this time. It's the quick scope. This is unreal. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You still is a monster, Tom.